Some bonds forge in the darkest of nights. Kira felt the chill of her world shatter as she lay against the fierce heart of the Alpha King. The royal court at Castle Valraven felt vast, yet confining, as if the very stones held secrets that were not meant for her ears. Shadows clung to her like a second skin, drawing closer as she watched the flickering flames in the great hall dance, a witness to her own impending doom. Laughter filled the air, but it felt distant, echoing like whispers from a hidden abyss. She was marked, an Omega caught in a web of intrigue, power struggles, and brutal rivalries. Her throat tightened as she glanced around the room, fingers trembling. Burning gazes roamed the court, each assessing, each calculating. The nobles surrounding her, adorned in luxurious silks and glimmering jewels, were eager, hungry for power, waiting for a chance to see her bested. Some may have wanted her dead. Others sought to see their own daughter bound to the Alpha King, as if exchanging flesh for power. Alaric, the name stirred something deep within her. He was forged in blood and scars, a king whose heart had weathered betrayal and heartbreak like a sailor braving a stormy sea. Most thought him unyielding. She would learn otherwise. Kira's heart raced, a frantic rhythm beating a warning in her chest. Tonight, the court would choose a bride for Alaric, seeking alliances, wealth, support, power. Did they know he had set his eyes on someone entirely different? Someone bound in secrets and darkness? Someone they underestimated? The urgency clawed at her gut. What would it mean to be claimed by a king, especially one whose legend was shrouded in shadows? An icy grip clenched at her heart as she pondered her own fate. Did she dare hope? Would she become a pawn, a sacrifice in a game played by titans? Or could she take hold of her fate and reshape the narrative? The flames flickered ominously, sealing her fate. She was more than a mere servant, hidden in the shadows with a legacy long forgotten, a shifter carrying the blood of powerful beasts that whispered ancient truths. Then Alaric entered the hall, and the atmosphere shifted like the turning of a tide. He was a force of nature, commanding attention and respect. An aura of danger enveloped him, and though he was a king, he was also a predator, hungry and feral. Kira felt the pull, as if the very fabric of reality was humming with the tension that crackled between them. Every step he took resonated with authority, and she couldn't help but be drawn to him, her instincts screaming at her, tapping into a source of power that sparked in her core. Was it desire? Fear? Confusion? Behind them, danger lurked in every corner, enemies plotting and whispering, eager to exploit any weakness. Kira remained oblivious, unaware of the treachery gathering in their midst, the impending storm that would soon unravel everything. She couldn't know the turmoil raging in his heart, the conflicting thoughts about claiming her, yet knowing it was vital for his survival to do so. Seconds felt like hours as time stretched, melding anxiety with anticipation. The thick air weighed heavily around her. She was terrified, heart hammering, her mind racing with wild visions of what might come next. Would he look at her with desire or distaste? Could she become more than a sacrificial offering? The flicker of hope and dread battled within her, and Kira felt lost in the tumult. She let out a breath, trying to steady herself as their eyes finally locked. Alaric's gaze swept across the court, and in that moment it settled on her. What fate awaited them both? Would the darkness surrounding them suffocate their bond or illuminate a path forward? Kira didn't have the answers. She only felt the fire ignite between them, a dangerous promise that sent shivers racing down her spine. As the music played and the laughter roared, she couldn't shake the foreboding sense that this night would change everything. Kira had lived a life marred by submission, shadows her only companion. Orphaned at 16 during a raid, she had been taken as a servant, forced to obey the whims of her captors. The fires of her childhood were replaced with the suffocating cold of survival. The softest words could shatter her heart, and the strongest storms had always bent her will. She had learned to navigate the halls of Castle Valraven, moving silently among nobles, a ghost unseen, yet deeply aware of the intentions coursing through their veins. Each day passed in silent servitude, her eyes trained to observe their secrets, their desires. As she spent years hidden behind the walls, Kira's past slipped away, forgotten by all but her. In the light of day, she polished silver and scrubbed floors. At night, her dreams took flight, dreams of freedom, of being more than just an omega, less than a wolf. But beneath her uniform of submission, a legacy thrummed with power. The blood of shifters ran through her veins, a truth long buried under shame and fear. If only they knew of her true nature. If only she could claim the freedom it promised. Alaric, on the other hand, was no stranger to the dark. A wolf born in the heart of a raging storm, he had lost everything, every loved one, every ally. An alpha, but standing alone, surrounded by betrayal that wrapped around him like a cloak. He had trusted too many. His father's death weighed heavily, a betrayal from one he called brother. The sting of loss was ever present, breathing down his neck like a phantom. But he knew one thing. Emotions had no place in rulership. Vulnerability was a weakness others would exploit. The kingdom itself trembled under the weight of dark magic, and enemies lurked in every shadow. Alaric's kingdom faced upheaval, a war, a siege, a line drawn between loyalty and treachery. He could not afford to falter. As he entered the hall, Kira sensed the unease rippling through those around her. The nobles whispered, glancing from one to the other, their faces painted with masks of civility, but beneath lay a festering fear of what might come. Tonight, the court would choose a bride, attempt to bind Alaric to them with promises. Kira's heart thudded in her chest, a chaotic symphony echoing her fears. What would happen when the choice was made? Would she simply fade back into the shadows? Or would she have to face the harsh truth that she was as much a pawn in this game of power as anyone else? With Alaric as her king, could she still hold on to the fragments of hope she clung to? She often saw him as more than just a fierce ruler. Despite his reputation, there was something in his eyes, haunted yet so alive. A flicker of understanding passed through her as she watched him stand there, unyielding under the weight of his crown. There was strength, yes, but also overwhelming loneliness that mirrored her own. The night only grew darker as they prepared for the selection, the flames flickering wildly in the massive hearth, consuming the wood in crackling bursts. Kira knew they would face each other soon. Would he see her not just as an omega, but as a woman capable of strength? She had hidden away too long, and fear threatened to swallow her yet again. Then the music began, a haunting melody that echoed through the hall. The nobles, beautiful and ruthless, swept onto the dance floor, twirling in an extravagant display designed to capture the alpha's attention. Kira stood at the edge, terribly aware of the way the court's eyes always seemed to drift toward Alaric, hoping for his favor, longing to stand at his side. The tension in the air thickened, and Kira pressed her back against the cool stone, willing herself invisible. What would it be like to be chosen? Or worse, to be rejected? Would the moment draw forth the truth of her lineage? Would they cast her out, dismiss her as unworthy? She forced herself to take a breath, reminding herself of the resilience she'd cultivated through years of hardship. No more silence. Tonight, she would step into the light, whatever that light held for her. What would happen if she opened her heart to this dance with destiny? Could she forge a place beside the Alpha King, or would the court's choices plunge her deeper into darkness? Would the light they found together be strong enough to shatter the shadows that threatened to consume them both? Kira was on the precipice of something monumental, and as the music swelled, she could feel it. Every heartbeat in the hall seemed to echo the promise of change. She will not stand in the shadows anymore. The moment Kira stepped forward from the shadows, the music mellowed, as if the very night paused to take note. The court fell silent. All eyes shifted to her, A flicker of hesitation caught in the bright lights of the hall. Was it her imagination, or did the temperature drop? Even amidst the laughter and lively melodies, she felt the weight of judgment pressing down like a heavy shroud. Yet she forced herself to stand tall, to breathe past the constraints of her upbringing. Alaric's gaze snapped to her. She felt it like a current, shocking and undeniable. Her heart raced. Was this what it felt like to stand before a ruler and not cower away? The embers of hope flickered within her, pushing her forward. She took a step further into the light, weaving her way between polished couples who twirled gracefully, their laughter fading into distant notes. Kira's pulse quickened, tension curling in her muscles, urging her to run. But she couldn't. Not now. Alaric's commanding presence was magnetic, a force drawing her closer amidst the tension and burden that loomed. The whispers around her were now a muffled hum, as if the entire world faded, leaving only their silent connection. As Kira approached, she sensed a shift in the air. He stood, imposing yet captivating, a blend of ferocity and loneliness that resonated deep within her. Their eyes locked, an electric charge surging between them, awakening something primal. The scent of night and earth surrounded him, grounding her even as her heart raced. "Why have you come here?" His voice was low, almost husky, laced with curiosity, a subtle challenge. The crowd held its breath, caught in the web of anticipation. The question felt loaded, heavy with implications. "Because I am here," she answered, steadying herself. "I am meant to be more than just a shadow." Those words hung in the air, a proclamation both bold and terrifying. A flicker of surprise crossed his face before he quickly masked it with an unreadable expression. Alaric took a step closer, his movement deliberate, purpose in every shift of his form. "You think you can stand among them? Among the daughters of noble houses who reek of power, gifts, alliances?" Kira's breath trembled at the challenge in his tone, but remained resolute. "No more gifts, no more secrets. They do not define me. I carry a truth they cannot grasp." It felt audacious to say, and yet the very act of saying it felt liberating, as if she unearthed her own hidden strength. His lips quirked in an expression that felt like curiosity mingled with intrigue. Then he turned, addressing the court. "What do you see when you look at her?" His voice echoed through the hall, resonating with authority, and yet Kira sensed a challenge hidden beneath, urging them to confront their assumptions. "She's just an omega." A haughty voice slithered from the crowd, spitting venomous disdain. Kira's stomach knotted, thoughts racing. Would they see her as weak, as broken? Would they show him that the shadow beside him was just a fleeting wisp of smoke? "Just an omega?" Alaric's voice cut through the murmur of discomfort. "What if she is meant to be something greater than that?" Kira swallowed hard, unsure but unyielding. The energy in the hall shifted, whispers of dissent swirling like a tempest. She could feel the influence of danger surrounding them, that notion of her being more than what they perceived, more than the blood that painted her lineage. Alaric stepped closer, tantalizingly close, yet the air between them felt charged, fraught with unsaid words. "If we are to forge a bond, it cannot be just a creature of the shadows beside a king of the night." "Then let me be more than a shadow," she whispered, emboldened by the moment. The flames of the hearth danced wildly, illuminating his features, the glint in his eyes awakening something she hadn't dared acknowledge. In that moment, their worlds collided, two fates entwined. But before either could speak again, the laughter rang out, the nobles eager to redefine the night as if nothing had changed. Kira felt pulled taut, a bowstring ready to snap at any moment. "Choose your fate," Alaric finally said, fierier now. "Shatter the narrative they weave, or be swept away into oblivion. What do you truly want?" "Freedom," she breathed, a sudden wave of clarity surging through her. "To stand not in your shadow, but beside you, to be known. And what of your blood, your lineage? Let them discover what I am. Let them see me. He turned, the weight of the court resting on his broad shoulders as the atmosphere hung heavy with expectation. Then we shall dance, Kira. A dance that will demarcate the shadows, drawing a line through who you've been and who you are meant to be. As Alaric stepped away, extending a hand, Kira moved forward without hesitation. The music shifted again, and she let it pull her in. Together, they approached the center of the floor, two souls intertwined, forging a connection that would send shockwaves through the court. What would happen when the dust settled? Would the court accept them or fight to keep the status quo? Could she embrace her heritage and rise against the tide of opposition? As their hands met, the world faded and the dance began. A bold declaration, a testament to defiance against all they had once known. As Kira took Alaric's hand, warmth enveloped them both. The court faded from her mind, their gazes mere whispers beneath the heartbeat of their rhythm. There was no going back. This moment was a challenge and an invocation to the depths of who she was and who she could become. They moved together, Alaric leading with an embodiment of power and grace. Each twirl brought them closer, the majestic courtroom spinning around them like a tempest, eager to witness their declarations. Kira felt alive, the pulse of music matching the cadence of her heart, a rhythm of rebirth. "I see you, Kira," Alaric said, his voice low against the music. "As you are, not just a shadow lingering in the dark." Those words sent shivers down her spine, igniting something deep within. "And I see you as more than a king. You are not just made of the crown, are you?" The boldness surged within her as they swirled into one another, his warmth filling the empty spaces in her heart. He tightened his grip just for a moment, then stepped back, his eyes fierce with a complex mix of emotions, pride and hunger. "No, I am not just a king. I am a man who's lost yet finding something worth the fight." At that moment, their worlds collided, two fates entwined. But before they could speak again, laughter rang out. The nobles were eager to redefine the night as if nothing had changed. Kira felt pulled taut, a bowstring ready to snap. "Choose your fate," Alaric finally said, fierier now. "Shatter the narrative they weave or be swept away into oblivion. What do you truly want?" "Freedom," she breathed, clarity rushing through her. "To stand not in your shadow, but beside you, to be known." "And what of your blood, your lineage? Let them discover what I am. Let them see me." The weight of the court's gaze settled on Alaric's broad shoulders as he turned to face them. "Then we shall dance, Kira, a dance that will mark the shadows, drawing a line through who you've been and who you are meant to be." As Alaric stepped away and extended his hand, Kira moved forward with determination. The music shifted, and she felt its gravitational pull. Together, they approached the center of the floor, two souls entwining, forging a connection that sent shockwaves through the court. What would happen when the dust settled? Would the court accept them or fight to keep the status quo? Could she embrace her heritage and rise against the tide of opposition? Their hands met, and the world around them faded away. The dance began, a bold declaration, a testament to defiance against all they had once known. Turning and swirling, the near-silent crowd buzzed with anticipation, their breaths caught in a mix of admiration and judgment. As they spiraled across the floor, Kira's heart soared. This moment fueled a deeper understanding of herself and Alaric, the two souls chasing freedom together. As the rhythm quickened, she spun into him, heart racing and mind sharpening. Yet, lurking beneath their newfound energy was danger. Envy thrummed through the air, tension thickening. Kira could sense the nobles shifting, some intrigued, others fuming. Their eyes bore into her, weighing her worth against the expectations of the court. "Look at them, Kira," Alaric murmured, gripping her waist. "They think they know what's best for me. They see power and alliances but limit it to rank and bloodlines. But their views mean nothing, Kira countered, determination thrumming through her. We can change the narrative. With each rotation, they claimed more power, crafting a truth they held together. Kira's heart sang as body and spirit intertwined, their energy radiating defiance. This was an act of rebellion, against the suffocating expectations that choked the kingdom. Yet just then, two figures emerged from the crowd. Clad in silver and crimson, Lord Malvith and Lady Cecily approached with predatory grins. "A delightful spectacle," Malvith sneered, eyes gleaming with malice. "A servant gracing the floor with the king, proclaiming herself worthy of his attention?" He laughed, cold and cutting. Kira's stomach dropped, but Alaric remained unyielding. "You underestimate her, Malvith," he replied, simmering rage palpable. "And I will not let you belittle her. Not now, not ever." The hall held its breath, tension hanging thick. Kira could feel the strength growing around her, Baphomet energy pushing her to stand tall, face the storm, and not cower. "Such defiance is dangerous for you both," Lady Cecily interjected, elegantly disdainful. "Claiming an Omega as your equal? What mockery! There are rules in this kingdom for a reason, rules that keep order." "Order," Kira echoed, her voice unwavering, loud enough to cut through the murmurs. "Order is nothing but a chain if it suffocates truth. I am more than just an Omega. I will not be silenced while you distort who I am." Gasps rippled through the hall. Determination surged through Kira like fire. This was her moment to rise. She sought Alaric's gaze, and the flicker of pride ignited a deeper flame inside her. "You're not just an Omega," Alaric declared loudly, determination resonating from him. "Kira is my ally, a partner forged from trials we've both endured, and she stands before you, strong, not weak." "Is this what you want for your kingdom?" Malvith countered, smirk unwavering. "An Omega grasping for power? You risk everything, my king." "I risk nothing," Alaric shot back, resolve penetrating his words. "If they cannot see strength in her heart, it speaks more to their weakness than ours." The audience shifted, reactions simmering into a torrential disturbance. Kira felt exhilarated as they danced toward the uncharted territory. Thunderous conflict loomed ahead. Alaric stepped closer, leaning down to whisper, "This is our turning point. They cannot chain us without a fight." "Yes," Kira breathed, heart thundering, "and we will show them our truth. We are not slaves to their expectations." The world around them pulsed, their truth a beacon against the backdrop of tradition and constraint. In this vivid moment, they enacted both freedom and rebellion, ready to face whatever awaited them. As they spun, the realm of possibility seemed endless. Would they become the symbol of change that the kingdom needed? Would this bold declaration be enough to challenge the established order? With every breath, every step, the stakes heightened. The flames of defiance burned brighter, ready to illuminate their path forward. The energy in the room crackled, as if the very walls awaited a declaration that would shatter the silence. Kira felt the intensity of every gaze now trained on her and Alaric. The court was poised at the edge, a fine line drawn between tradition and revolution. They had ignited a spark, but how long could it survive the storm brewing on the horizon? "Your words will cost you dearly, Alaric," Malvith warned, posture stiffening. "You have no idea how far those willing to protect the crown will go." "I will protect my kingdom by embracing its truth, not fear," Alaric declared, taking a step towards him, indignant. "You don't own me, nor do you own her." "What a fine display of rebellion," Lady Cecily cut in, voice smooth as silk, yet laced with poison. "How poetic that the king chooses a servant to rise alongside him. You elevate her, but you only jeopardize your reign." Alaric's eyes glinted with resolve. "Jeopardy is born of oppression, not alliance. Kira stands with me because she has proven her worth, more than you could ever fathom. Kira felt strength radiate from Alaric. It bolstered her, allowing her to face the bitterness crowding the room. She wasn't merely an Omega, she was a force to be reckoned with. "Lady Cecily," Kira interjected, voice resolute, "it's time to redefine the narrative that confines us. The future of our kingdom lies not in the shackles of tradition, but in the promise of unity." Murmurs whipped through the nobles, expressions of disdain twining with intrigue. Did they dare to embrace a future where roles were no longer defined by blood or status? "Unity?" Malvith spat, sneering disdainfully. "What kind of unity do you think you'll forge out of chaos? You're playing a dangerous game." Kira felt Alaric stiffen beside her, their connection palpable as they faced the nobles together. "Chaos is born from ignorance," Kira replied, tone steely, "and this kingdom has hidden far too long from the truth of its own strength." "Bold words for an Omega," Malvith said mockingly. "Do you have a plan beyond this drama, or will your rebellion end in destruction?" "We fight for change, but not recklessly," Alaric fired back. "Change requires loyalty to those who deserve a voice." "Loyalty?" Lady Cecily laughed, the sound grating against Kira's ears. "You presume too much. One misstep and the whole kingdom will turn against you." "They'll see the truth for what it is," Alaric stated firmly, holding Kira's gaze, emboldened by their united front. "And if they do not, if they refuse to learn, then I will fight for every life with honor." And there it was, the thunderous heartbeat of rebellion resonating through air. Kira sensed the shift among the nobles, the scales tilting. This moment was everything. But just as hope began to bud, a voice sliced through the tension, a gruff baritone echoing from the back of the hall. "And what of my life? What of the innocent caught in your crossfire?" The assembly turned as an older man stepped forward, face shaded with anger. It was Gregor, a seasoned warrior of Alaric's guard, an unexpected enemy. "You think appealing to ideals will shield us from a reckoning?" Alaric moved toward him, defiance flashing in his eyes. "We can rebuild without bloodshed if we stand united." "It's easy to say when you have nothing to lose," Gregor retorted. "But mine and others' children, their lives are at stake. A foolish king leads his people to ruin." "Enough!" Alaric shouted, a fierce command that echoed throughout the hall. "I refuse to accept that fear will dictate our choices any longer. If you cannot see the potential for unity, you commit to chaos yourself. Together, we forge a new path. We will not falter." Kira stepped forward, knowing this was her moment to shine alongside him. "I stand here as proof of that potential. I've faced darkness and made choices that should have been impossible. And if I can rise from being merely an Omega to hold my head high alongside Alaric, then there's hope for us all." Gasps rippled through the court again. Kira felt the shifting tides, felt doubt nibbling away at the once unyielding confidence of the nobles. Could they feel the fear of losing their power? Yes. But what about their thirst for connection? Alaric turned to address them all, his voice deep and steady. "Kira and I advocate for a bond built on understanding, where those deemed lesser can bring value to our kingdom. Our strength lies in our unity, not our division." The tension began to swirl in a new direction. Glances exchanged held intrigue instead of contempt. Alaric continued, vibrant passion lighting his eyes. "We must protect one another, not just those born into privilege, but all who call this place home. If we allow walls to dictate our fate, we doom ourselves." "Would you turn your backs on history?" Gregor challenged, voice halting. "History must not bind us," Kira asserted, feeling a surge of courage coursing through her. "We draw lessons from it, not chains. We honor those before us by fully embracing who we are today." Malvith narrowed his eyes, the tension morphing, as unsure glances passed among the nobles. Could this moment hold power or deliver chaos? A silence fell, heavy and fraught with possibility. What would this kingdom choose, their antiquated traditions or the chance to embrace change? Kira felt her heart thunder in her chest, as if the answer beckoned just out of reach. Alaric raised his chin, commanding the attention of every soul in attendance. We will shape our kingdom's destiny together, as allies. We will not bow to fear, but rise together, turning this tide into strength. Kira stepping forward, hand in Alaric's, a silent promise of unity between them. Will you join us? Will you awaken to your own power? A murmur rippled through the court, like waves against the shore, uncertainty and hope intertwining. But as eyes met across the floor, they could feel the truth converting, pulling them into a brighter future. Could they truly turn the tide? Could the push toward unity prevail over the dread that hung thick in the air like mist? Kira held her breath, poised on the cusp of revelation, eyes locked to Alaric as the air simmered with anxiety, anticipation, and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. The silence felt alive, charged with potential. Kira and Alaric stood at the center of the court, hands intertwined, ready to challenge the weight of tradition that had loomed for centuries. Kira's heart hammered in her chest. This was a pivotal moment, a turning point that could reshape everything. Alaric broke the stillness, voice steady yet fierce. We cannot let fear dictate our actions any longer. We stand together today, not just as king and servant, but as allies calling for a new dawn. The nobles shifted uneasily, eyes darting between one another. Kira sensed the hesitation, but she also noticed sparks of curiosity. They were teetering on the edge of acceptance, captivated by the possibility of what could be. Gregor, his voice trembling with uncertainty, stepped forward. But what if this unity leads to chaos? Can we trust that the cost won't be our lives? Kira met his gaze, unyielding. True strength doesn't come from fear, but from embracing our differences. We can learn from our past while building a future where everyone thrives. From the back, Lord Brennus raised an eyebrow, still skeptical. You speak of great ideals, but will the nobles support such change? I believe they will, Alaric declared, but only if they see courage in us. Only if they believe in dismantling the walls we've built around ourselves. The court hushed, tension mingling with an undercurrent of hope. Kira felt it, a chance for a new era, a vision that transcended bloodlines and traditions. Will you rise with us? Kira asked, her voice unwavering. Will you join this fight against the shadows of the past? The murmurs grew into a chorus of voices, blending doubt with a spark of adventurous yearning. Maybe it's time for a change, someone said amidst the crowd. Yes, a united kingdom, another echoed, encouraged by Kira's fire. As the crowd began to stir, Alaric's confidence bloomed. Together, we can build a kingdom that thrives, where everyone has the right to be heard. We must stand strong against those who choose division over unity. Kira squeezed his hand, feeling the weight of history lift a fraction. The ground beneath them felt unsteady, but ripe for change, and she could sense a waking resolve. Yet, not everyone was convinced. Malvith stepped forward, closely followed by his ally, Lady Cecily. You point to ideals, but fail to address the risks, he sneered, disdain dripping from his words. What will happen when power shifts and the chaos you embrace leads to ruin? Kira held steady, drawing courage. It's not chaos we seek, but an awakening. If we do not create our own future, we leave our fate in the hands of those who thrive on fear. With every word she spoke, Kira felt the walls around her crumble, inch by inch. Voices rose, some protesting, others cheering in agreement. The court was in disarray, but a curious energy blossomed. Hesitation began to fade, the air thick with a burgeoning sense of hope. Alaric's gaze swept over the crowd like a sweeping tide. Those who fear change create shackles for themselves, but imagine a land freed from the burdens of our past, a land where everyone can stand together. Cheers erupted, echoing off the gilded walls, ignited voices joining in a rhythmic pulse of unity. Together, they called out. Together, will you join us, old and young, noble and common? Kira implored, her voice rising with the swell of enthusiasm. This is your kingdom as much as it is ours. The time to take a stand is now. Empowered by their shared resolve, the crowd roared in agreement, their ancient fears still lingering but softened, challenged by newfound purpose. Alaric stepped back, raising his arms to embrace the room. Then let us mark this day. Together we will forge our path into a brighter future, no longer trapped by expectations, but propelled by the truth of who we are, united in strength. The hall filled with voices, a symphony of belief and acceptance crescendoing around them. Kira felt a rush of emotion. This was what they had fought for, a powerful declaration echoing across the kingdom. With confidence, she turned to Alaric. "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" He nodded, eyes gleaming with determination. "Together, we will shape our legacy, the love binding us, the truth setting us free. It's just the first step toward everything we can achieve." With the applause swelling like a mighty tide, Kira met Alaric's gaze, knowing this wasn't merely a victory, but the promise of a renewed kingdom, a bond forged in courage and unity. As the court rallied around them, Kira thought of the journey still ahead. There would be challenges, no doubt, but side by side with Alaric, she felt ready. In that moment, they were no longer just King and Omega, but the architects of a future filled with promise, love, and shared strength. If you enjoyed the story of Kira and Alaric, The Awakening of a Kingdom, subscribe for more epic Lycan King romances. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story, and remember, together we can embrace our shared strength. Thank you for listening.